The sun was very hot that afternoon in Ouagadougou. The streets were busy as usual. People were buying and selling. Cars and motorcycles were everywhere, and the smell of roasted corn filled the air. In the middle of all the noise walked an old man called Mr. Doumbia. He was about 75 years old, thin, and his back was slightly bent because of old age. His white hair was shining under the sun. Many years ago, Mr. Doumbia was one of the best teachers in Burkina Faso. He taught many children who later became great people in the country. One of his favorite students was now the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. Even though Mr. Doumbia was once respected, life had not been kind to him. He had no pension, no children, and his small house was falling apart. But he was always grateful to God for life. On this hot day, he decided to go out and buy roasted corn. He had saved a few coins, and corn was one of his favorite snacks. At the corner of the market, there was a woman named Miriam who sold roasted corn every day. Miriam was not a kind woman. She was known for talking about others, shouting, and treating some customers very badly, especially those she disliked. For some reason, Miriam never liked Mr. Doumbia. She said he looked too proud for a poor old man. As Mr. Doumbia came to her table, he greeted her nicely. "Good afternoon, my daughter." Miriam did not answer with a gentle smile. Mr. Doumbia pointed to a roasted corn. "Please, I would like to buy one." "How much do you have?" Miriam asked meanly. Mr. Doumbia brought out some coins from his pocket and handed them to her. "That's not enough," she shouted. "You want to cheat me, poor old thief." Mr. Doumbia was shocked. "I only want one corn, and this is the price I always pay." But Miriam was looking for trouble. She quickly grabbed the corn and started shouting loudly, "Thief! Thief! This old man is trying to steal my corn. Help! Somebody help me!" The nearby traders and buyers turned right away. Some believed her lies. They went around Mr. Doumbia and started saying bad things to him. "You are old but still stealing," one woman shouted. "What a shame," another man added. A few people even tried to push him. The old man raised his hands and begged, "Please, I am not a thief. I just came to buy corn." I gave her the money I have, but Miriam refused to stop shouting. She continued screaming. He grabbed the corn and wanted to run. I caught him just in time. This old man is wicked. The small crowd became bigger. Some started recording with their phones. Nobody wanted to listen to Mr. Doumbia. His eyes were full of tears. His heart was broken. He never thought that, at his old age, he would be treated badly like this. As all this was happening, a black official car was driving slowly past the market. Inside the car was President Ibrahim Traoré himself. He had finished a meeting and decided to take a different route back to the palace. The loud shouting caught his attention. He turned to his security officer. "Stop the car, I hear noise." The car stopped right away. The president stepped out, quietly. The moment he saw the old man in the middle of the angry crowd, his heart dropped. He knew him right away. "That's my teacher," the president whispered to himself. Without thinking twice, he walked straight into the crowd. As President Ibrahim Traoré walked into the crowd, his security team tried to clear the people, but he told them, "No, let me handle this myself." The people, who were busy shouting and saying bad things to Mr. Doumbia, suddenly became silent when they saw the president. Some gasped, some opened their mouths wide in shock, and others quickly stepped back. No one expected the president to be there. Miriam, who was still shouting, paused when she saw him. Fear filled her eyes, and she started shaking. "President, good afternoon, sir," she stammered. President Ibrahim Traoré looked at her calmly, but firmly. His face was serious. His eyes moved to his old teacher, who stood in the middle of the crowd, still shaking from shame. "Mr. Doumbia," the president called softly. The old man raised his eyes and was surprised to see his former student standing before him. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "Ibrahim, my son," he whispered. President Traoré walked forward and gently held his teacher's weak hands. "Please sit down," he said. One of the guards brought a small chair for Mr. Doumbia to sit on. The president turned and faced the crowd. His voice was strong, filled with controlled anger. "Who blamed this man of stealing?" he asked. Miriam's legs were shaking as she raised her hand slowly. "Sir, it was me." "Speak clearly," the president ordered. "What happened here?" Miriam began to talk. "He came to my table to buy corn, but when I told him the price, he refused to pay and tried to steal one." The president listened quietly. When she finished speaking, he turned to Mr. Doumbia. "Sir, is this true?" the president asked softly. Mr. Doumbia shook his head. with tears still falling. "My president, I gave her all the coins I had. I only wanted one coin, nothing more." President Traoré nodded and turned back to Miriam. His voice became even firmer. "So, you are blaming a man who taught many groups of children in this country of stealing roasted corn? Have you no shame?" The people around were now very silent. Nobody dared to speak. Many were already feeling sorry for saying bad things to the old man. Miriam was now sweating. "Sir, I didn't mean—" "Enough," the president shouted. His anger was clear now. "You didn't mean it? You blamed him in front of the whole market. You shouted thief and called people to say bad things to him. You wanted to destroy his name because of your hatred." The president shook his head and continued, "You hate him because you say he is proud, but let me tell you something. This man is one of the greatest men in this country. While you were still in your mother's womb, this man was in classrooms building the future of this nation." The crowd lowered their heads. They felt ashamed of how they had treated Mr. Doumbia. President Traoré continued, "Do you people know who this man is? Without him, I might not even be standing here as your president. He taught me in primary school. He taught me how to read and write. He taught me respect and good behavior. He corrected me when I was wrong, and today, because of him and other teachers like him, I became who I am." His voice became emotional as he continued speaking. "Yet today, you gathered like wild animals to say bad things to him over one roasted corn. What is wrong with our hearts? Why are we quick to judge and destroy others? Why are we full of hate for innocent people?" Some people started to cry. Quietly, others wiped their faces with their hands. The weight of the president's words sank deep into their hearts. President Traoré pointed at Miriam again. "You will be arrested for false blaming. You lied because of your hatred, and you tried to shame an innocent man. Please, sir, forgive me," Miriam begged, falling on her knees. The president raised his hand. "Stand up. You are not begging me. Beg the man you said bad things to." Miriam crawled to Mr. Doumbia's chair. She knelt before him, crying, "Please forgive me, sir. I was wrong. I lied. I don't know what came over me." Mr. Doumbia looked at her with gentle eyes and said, "My daughter, I forgive you, but next time, don't destroy people's names because of hatred." President Traoré nodded but remained serious. "Forgiveness does not remove results. You will still face the law for false blaming and public trouble. This will serve as a lesson to you and to others." He turned back to the crowd, now completely silent. "Let this be a warning to everyone. Never destroy someone's life with lies because of your personal hatred or being jealous. Today, it was Mr. Doumbia. Tomorrow, it might be you or someone you love." The crowd answered softly, "Yes, sir." The security officers arrested Miriam gently and took her away. After Miriam was taken away, the market returned to silence. People were still ashamed of how quickly they judged the old man. The president stood beside his teacher for a while, looking at the crowd. His heart was heavy. He saw how people's hearts had become filled with wickedness, how quickly they believed lies without asking questions. President Ibrahim Traoré looked at his guards. "Bring my car closer." The official car drove slowly forward. The president opened the door for Mr. Doumbia himself, gently helping him into the back seat. "Let's go home, sir," the president said softly, calling him sir out of deep respect. As the car drove away, the people stood quietly watching until the car went away from their eyes. Inside the car, Mr. Doumbia sat quietly. His eyes were still red, and tears rolled slowly down his old and lined face. He could not believe what had just happened. His former student, now president, had saved him from public shame. He never thought that this small boy he once taught would one day defend him before the whole country. "My son," Mr. Doumbia finally spoke, his voice weak but clear. "You have done something I will never forget for the rest of my life." President Traoré turned to him with a warm smile. "No, sir, you saved my life long before today. You taught me values that made me who I am. You planted good seeds in me when I was a little boy. Today, it is my turn to protect you." The old teacher smiled and nodded slowly. "I am proud of you, Ibrahim. Very proud." They drove quietly for a while. The president spoke again. "Sir, do you know that many of your former students still speak of you with respect? You taught doctors, lawyers, soldiers, farmers, and even government workers." Mr. Doumbia smiled softly, but remained humble. "I only did what God called me to do." The president nodded. "And you did it well." When they reached the presidential palace, the guards quickly opened the gate. The car entered the grounds. Servants and officials stood with surprise as the president helped the old man out of the car. "Prepare a guest room," the president told them. "He will stay here with me for now." The servants quickly obeyed. For the first time in many years, Mr. Doumbia slept peacefully in a beautiful room on a clean, soft bed with air conditioning and good food. He could not hold back his tears. God had remembered him in his old age. The next day, President Ibrahim Traoré called a national press meeting. The whole country was watching. Radio stations, TV channels, and online media all focused on the live show. The president sat in front of the cameras with Mr. Doumbia sitting beside him. The old man was wearing a new, beautiful outfit, looking clean and respected. His face was full of peace. "My fellow citizens," the president began, "yesterday something very painful and shameful happened in one of our markets. An innocent old man was publicly shamed and almost destroyed because of a false blaming." The president paused for a moment and continued, "This man beside me is Mr. Doumbia, my former teacher. He taught me good behavior, hard work, and truth. Today, I am president because of teachers like him." Yet he was almost beaten and called a thief because one person allowed hatred to fill her heart. The president's voice became stronger, slightly angry. "We are becoming a society that destroys people too easily. We believe lies too quickly. We judge people without listening. This must stop. This culture of hatred, being jealous, and false blaming must end." He raised his hand firmly. "From today, anyone who lies to destroy another person's name will face serious punishment under the law. We cannot allow such wickedness to continue." The news people were silent, but moved. The speech was strong. The message was clear. The president turned to Mr. Doumbia. "Sir, on behalf of this nation, I apologize for what you went through yesterday. You deserve honor, not shame." The whole country was watching. Many people felt emotional. Social media was flooded with messages praising the president's actions. People posted pictures of their own old teachers, thanking them for their sacrifices. One comment read, "We must respect our teachers. Without them, we are nothing." Another said, "President Traoré has shown true leadership. May Allah bless him." In another part of the country, Miriam was in police jail. She sat quietly in her cell, thinking deeply about her actions. For the first time, she realized how her hatred almost destroyed an innocent man. The checking officer came to see her. "You see what your lies caused?" the officer asked. Tears filled her eyes. "I never knew it would go this far," she whispered. "But it did," the officer replied. "You thought it was just a small lie, but it became a national shame. You almost sent an innocent old man to his grave in shame." Miriam broke down and wept bitterly. She was full of regret. She wished she could turn back time. 2 days later, President Ibrahim Traoré visited the police station personally. Many people were shocked to see him come in person just for one prisoner. He asked to see Miriam. She was brought out of the holding cell. Her face was full of shame. She could not lift her eyes to look at the president. "Miriam," the president called gently. She fell on her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please, sir, forgive me." President Traoré looked at her with both seriousness and kindness. "Stand up." She slowly stood up but kept her head down. The president continued, "Miriam, what you did was very dangerous. Your lies could have cost an innocent man his life or sent him to prison for something he never did. Many people have died or suffered in silence because of false blamings like yours." He paused for a moment, making sure his words sank deep into her heart. "I ordered your arrest, not because I hate you, but to teach a lesson to you and many others like you. In this country, hatred and lies destroy families, destroy communities, and destroy nations." Miriam was crying. "I know, sir. I regret everything." The president nodded. "That is why today I am forgiving you." Her eyes widened. She could not believe what she just heard. "But listen carefully," President Traoré added. "This forgiveness does not mean what you did was right. It means I want you to become an example to others. From today, live your life differently. Speak the truth always. Never use lies to destroy anyone again." "I promise, sir," she cried. "Thank you, sir. Allah will bless you, sir." The officers released her right away. The president turned to the reporters waiting outside and said, "This case is closed, but the message remains. In Burkina Faso, we will not allow anyone to destroy another person's life because of hatred or being jealous. Let this be a warning and a lesson." Days later, the president invited Mr. Doumbia to the palace once again. "My teacher," he said with a smile, "I have something for you." He handed him a set of papers. Mr. Doumbia looked confused at first, but then smiled when he read them. The president had built a small, beautiful house for him, modern, comfortable, and not far from the city. "Son," Mr. Doumbia said emotionally, "you have done more than enough." The president smiled. "Sir, you deserve it. You serve this nation with your whole heart, and this is just a small way to say thank you. But there is one more thing," the president continued. "You once told me that you love bookshops." Mr. Doumbia smiled widely. "Yes, I love books. Being around books gives me life." The president nodded. "I have opened a small bookshop for you. You can run it at your own pace, no pressure. It is not for you to work hard, but for you to enjoy. People will help you manage it, but you can sit there, read, and meet people." Mr. Doumbia was silent for a moment, his eyes wet with tears. "Again, my son, may God bless you. I know I am old, but this bookshop will give me something to wake up for every day. If I sit at home doing nothing, I may become weaker quickly. This is a form of exercise for me." The president laughed gently. "You are right, sir. You are always full of wisdom." They both stood up and hugged each other warmly, the teacher and his student. Now the president shared a deep bond that no one could break. The story of Mr. Doumbia and Miriam spread across Burkina Faso and even beyond. It became a powerful lesson for the nation to respect the elderly, to honor teachers, to reject hatred, and most importantly, to always speak the truth. Many people changed their ways after hearing what happened. Parents used the story to teach their children. Teachers felt more valued. Even market sellers became more careful not to falsely blame anyone. President Ibrahim Traoré once again showed the heart of a true leader. Firm when needed, merciful when possible, and always committed to justice. And for Mr. Doumbia, his days ended not in shame, but in honor, peace, and happiness, surrounded by books, new friends, and a nation that finally gave him the respect he deserved. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more.